Okay, Pat, here you go. So hopefully you still have the website. If not, you can see it up here, and you would click on Management Utility. And then you want to come down here and hit Create New Case. Enter a name for your patient and a last name for him. And I would actually create a new directory and call these remediation. Choose if you want male or female, and then click Install Case. Okay, then you just have to wait a minute until it is actually ready to go. Should tell us in a minute now. Okay, installation is complete. Your access cases can be accessed here, so you just need to click on that. Click on Management Utility, Edit Case, Edit Data. Look for your new case. Okay, and I generally start from the top down and work my way down. So I click on the first tab, Patient Name. Like we said, it was Joe Smith. You're presenting data, a 38-year-old female, give them a male name, normal build, whatever, whatever. It's just very basic general information here. Now, referral option here, this is where you can put an actual prescription in if you wanted, precautions or something to be here. You can write an actual prescription in. Okay, and then I go right down the line. Brief description, so here you'd put in patient's height, weight, etc. And always save changes. The image, and then you want to scroll down and choose an image of who you want it to be. So we said a 38-year-old, so maybe her. And then click Change Picture. And then you can go to the chart and type in the problem. So I usually do something very genetic here, like shoulder pain. And description, patient is being seen in outpatient setting, and save the changes. Then that shows up here on the actual chart, and this is what they'll see. Case editors, if you're actually writing a case, type your name and information in here, and it'll show up when other people buy or purchase the case. History of present illness. You have the option when you're authoring a case to have them either see this history of present illness and skip all the history questions, or you can give them this. I usually do not give them this because I want them to do the history questions. So that's an option. We can talk about that if you want. And then click on Interview, and this is where all your questions start. Start in the top category, hit each question, ask, fill in your answer here. Now, as you're going through here, if you know this is a question you want them to ask, you can click here, and it will automatically become a criteria question that they're graded against. So as you're going through and choosing questions, if you know that's something you absolutely want them to ask, then check this box here, and you could always see what else you had asked. If I had asked other questions, it would show up here too. Okay, and then always save changes. Okay, so unfortunately now you have to go through each of these questions this way. First notice problem about, and type as if the patient is talking to them. Again, if I want them to ask this question, I should check investigation here. If I really don't care if they ask it, then I don't check in. I just do save changes. What are your goals? So same thing now. You continue down through all of these questions, unfortunately. And then you have to go to the next category and do it all again. And the next, and do it all again. All again, unfortunately. But a lot of these I will do something like NA, not applicable. Done. So it actually can go fairly quickly, especially for these categories that aren't relevant to the question you want them to answer. Okay, then you would go to exam and you would do the same thing. Switch to the full body view, and you would go through top to right. I usually don't put anything in here for flashlight. For vision, if I want them to look at the shoulders, then I will do that. Now you'll notice there are norms here for the exam. So something should be in the boxes for all the exam items. And this is easier because then you can just change it, or change the sentence that you want, or leave it. Same thing, if you want them to do it, check investigation. Okay, then I typically go down one side just because I find it easier to keep myself oriented, and check the answers for everything on each side, and then I go do the other. For each item, ophthalmoscope, I don't think there are any answers for because it's not relevant. Palpate, there should be an answer for everything. Right, so again, I go down the side, just check the answers. If I want to change it, that's where I change it. Always click Save Changes, or it won't be there. Okay, and then this is range of motion, and then percussion. These are accessory motions. So again, you have to go through all these, but at least this is just checking the answer and seeing if it's what you want them to be. So it's a little faster than... and then for functional mobility, there are answers here as well for everything. So again, it's just going in and changing what you don't want. If you want to change, if you don't want something to be abnormal. Right, and you can go through that for all of these. Tests and measures, there should be answers or some sort of explanation like within normal limits for all of these as well. So again, this too is just checking the answers that are there, make sure it's okay with what you want or what you want to change. Same thing for all of these. There is an answer there already. Usually it's at the test is negative. So if you know you want applicants to be positive, then you just have to go there and change it to positive and describe the results. And that's true for functional mobility, mental status, and tests and measures. So once you've entered all the data that you want, you can do the same for diagnostic tests as you did for interview and exam. Once you've entered all the actual patient data, then you go to management, and you can decide what interventions you want them to do. So if I think they should do aquatics, and here's now where I can ask questions about their management. So we talked about probing them about their modalities, use of modalities. So this is where I can do it. I can have no question pop up. I can have a default questions of frequency or duration, or I can type in a custom question. So why are you recommending aquatics? Right? And I can check save. So now if the student clicks on aquatics aesthetics, that question is going to pop up. So if we go to electrical modalities, we choose eSTEM. Now your question could be here: what type of electrical stim would you prescribe? What parameters would you use? And here you could also ask what might concern you about using, modalities here. So you can type in anything you want there to probe their thoughts. And again, if this is something you want them to do, you check, make it a criteria item here, and then save. Once you've gone through your interventions and what you want them to do, then you go to evaluate. And this is where you begin to grade them, or where you start to set up your criteria of what you want them to do. Actually, I think what might be best here is if we stop here and you enter the data first, and then I'll make a second video that goes through this part because it's going to get kind of long. I would do that first. Go through to diagnostic tests and enter all the patient data that you want to enter. And then I'll make a second video that goes from evaluate on. Okay? Let's see how that goes.